I know a lot of us want to avoid that trip to the doctor's office, but you might be ailing, you might need to be monitored by the doctor, and MedApps has some solutions about how to make that a much better process for you. This is Walter Balfour from MedApps, and tell me about the company and what does it mean to the consumer at the end of the day?
Absolutely, John. Basically what MedApps has created is a remote patient monitoring system that starts with the handset device that we have here, and we collect information from off-the-shelf biometric devices like this is a Bluetooth-enabled pulse oximeter here. And we can collect that information via either the Bluetooth connection or through a standard cable connection for something like a glucose meter. We collect that information and we transfer that up through a standard cell phone network to our back-end system that you can see here that allows the care provider to log in. And that's an example of collecting the reading there.
Right.
And then the care provider.
But this is all the information that gets stored, and the care provider can access this at any point, see how my blood sugar levels are, see how my blood pressure is, see what my pulse was, what's my oxygen level in my blood.
Absolutely.
And other things to find out, hey, is John okay?
Absolutely. And we've built tools into the back-end system that allows the care provider to better manage what's happening with the individual patient. So they can set up thresholds for the individual modalities, and when those thresholds are broken, either the upper limit or lower limit, an alert can be sent out to the care provider either via text message or an email that says, Mrs. Smith has had a glucose reading that is outside of the parameters you've set up for her. Maybe she needs to be followed up with or in some way brought into the office for a follow-up. And 97% is excellent. And then after 3 minutes of inactivity, our device will automatically connect to the cell network and send that information up. So the patient, we've really designed this to be very, very simple for the patient to use. For elderly patients, maybe they're not necessarily as tech savvy, and they would be able to just collect their reading like they normally do, and it would automatically send that information up to the back-end system.
So it starts here, it goes by Bluetooth to the device, it feeds through the cellular network and goes right to the database for the physician to access.
Absolutely.
It's also a personal component to this, or a personal education component to this as well.
Absolutely. So when we're transferring that information through to Microsoft Health Vault or any of those personal health record services that are out there, it really allows us to get more people involved in the care of the individual patient, whether it's the patient themselves or loved ones of a patient, and they would be able to review that information and help out with the care of the individual
And
patient.
find it all online right here.
Absolutely. John, another simple test we can do here is actually a glucose test. So we have a standard off-the-shelf glucose meter here that a patient would buy from CVS or a simple pharmacy or similar pharmacy. I'm sorry, and we have a test solution. We can actually kind of do a fake blood test for you here.
Okay.
And this will actually won't hurt you. Oops.
All right.
There you go.
Oh, all right.
And it actually does look
I was
like
kind of
blood.
wondering what you were doing there.
Yeah.
Now, so I've pinched or pricked my finger.
Precisely.
And now we're going to measure the blood sugar level.
Absolutely. So, and this is exactly how a patient would do their test. So it counts down and it'll actually read that information. It's 159, and all they do is pull out the strip like they normally would, and that initiates the connection between our device and the glucose meter, and it will vocalize that reading back to the patient, and then be able to transfer that information.
And transmit it once again over the cellular network into our database.
Absolutely. So, and that's really the key for this is that connectivity to the patient and really connecting the care provider with them without necessarily bringing them into the office. And really what we're trying to do is reduce overall healthcare costs by preventing unnecessary doctor's office visits and or, in the worst case scenario, emergency room visits.
And there's an array of devices that you have as well beyond this, and some that you're working on as well. Again, looking at improving patient care and comfort as well.
Absolutely. So in addition to the 4 modalities that we have in our FDA clearance, which are the glucose meter, the blood pressure, the pulse ox, and the scale, we're also working on things like spirometers, PTI in our devices that measure blood coagulation for congestive heart failure patients and things like that. So we have a lot of things in development, and really our goal is to be able to collect information from all of the major devices that are monitoring the chronic diseases that are out there.
And all that runs over the wireless network.
Absolutely.